We are counting down on election 2016 with just 48 days to go. And today, our focus of the constituency profiling center on Otafo. Otafo, as we all know, is in the Ashanti region, and the incumbent member of parliament in the person of Dr. Anthony Akoto Osei is our guest for this morning. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
You've been the incumbent member of parliament for 3 terms, which is 12 years.
That's correct.
12 years as a member of parliament.
That's correct.
What can you tell us?
A whole lot. We might spend the whole day. I think it's been an interesting experience. I was a deputy minister before I entered parliament for the elections in 2004. So officially, I became an MP in 2005, January. And I've successfully kept the seat. Perhaps part of the reason is that I think I've done quite a lot in the constituency. My greatest pride is the setting up of a vocational school that graduates approximately 80 to 100 young men and women in various skill-making activities. So since 2006, we've probably graduated close to 800 to 1,000 young men and women on sewing, cooking, knitting, and so forth and so on. So that is my greatest achievement. Every time I go and see them graduate, the parents are happy, because you have to ask, if these young ladies didn't go to that school and stayed at home for the 2 years, what would have happened? But now they have some skill to work on, and it's a bit taxing because sometimes I have to use my own finances, but I think it's worth an effort.
So it's been 12 years. Time to go to account to the people and seek re-election to go back to the House of Legislature.
Yes.
What are some of the achievements or some of the things that you've done that if I should drive into your constituency, I can boldly say that this and that was done under the regime of Honorable Dr. Anthony Akoto Osei?
Every year, we give close to 200 scholarships to various students from the basic through the tertiary. That has been done continuously for 10 years. So I've seen people graduate from SHS to universities, and some of them have gone to do their PhD. The most famous high school in the constituency is Osei. I'm sure I'm the only MP that has built a gymnasium in the school, so that apart from studying, they can also do exercises. That was not from any government funds, that was from my personal fund. There's a dorm that I helped put up, ladies' dorm, and then the A building, and almost every public school has received computers over the period. In fact, I'm set to do that again in the next couple of weeks, because it's important that if the ICT is part of the curriculum, then the students must get used to the computer. So I've focused on that. If you go to the Tafo hospital, it's called Tafuji. We started a maternity block, which was almost 80% completed in 2008. As of now, it has not been completed. I built a canteen for the staff of the hospital. I've just about finished an ENT building to be used at the Tafo clinic. And it's quite a lot. Every year, we have at least 2 football gala. One of the things the young men do there is they like soccer. Some of them have gone on to teams abroad, and we've maintained that since about 2006. Every year, Easter, Christmas. The latest thing that I've done, which I like, is a quiz competition between the basic schools in the area. We are set to do another one. Actually, they were supposed to have been starting yesterday. I'm going down today to meet my flag bearer, who is coming to pay homage to the chief. So I'm sure, but there's a lot, and I'm sure if you go there and you interview all the constituents, and I'm an MP for everybody. In elections, I stand as an MP, but once I'm the MP, I make sure that I try to.
All right, so one thing constituents will be looking out for, or usually look out for, is roads. In terms of roads, what have you done in the constituency?
Well, let's be very clear, but the MPs can lobby to see if the urban roads, in my case, an urban area, to develop the roads.
So how far have you lobbied to get the roads done in some
One
parts
of my,
of the constituency?
in one part of town, I call Ashanti Town, the complaint is that I've developed the roads in the Zongo area, and I haven't developed in the Ashanti area. But yes, we've tried to do a lot. You'll be surprised in the urban area, the nature of the roads, and it's something that we have to continue. But you are not the agent for building the roads. You have to appeal to the authorities, and so it's quite a lot. In fact, there's a road named after me. Before it was done, there was no way you could pass through that area between Tafo and Pankrono. There are two towns, Tafo and Pankrono, even though the constituency is called Old Tafo.
Let's talk about your constituency. So one would say, or as we all know, is a constituency which is seen as a stronghold of the NPP.
That's correct.
If we're looking at the voting trend that began since 2004, NPP...
When it was split?
Yeah, when it was split, is leading. Tell us about it.
No, I think we've always had the majority, and the margin has been quite big. The only problem I have had that I think I need to help change is that I've always done better than my presidential candidate, even with Kufuor. There's a 3,000–4,000 margin between me, myself, and the presidential candidate. And we want to change that. The reason is simple. I can only win by 1 vote, and it doesn't matter. But the presidential candidate needs 50+1. The margin for Nana, I mean, he won, but we think that we can do better. So we are targeting about 80% this year for the presidential candidate.
All right, so let me run by the viewers how the voting trend has been since 1996. In 1996, so if you're looking at the presidential election for Otafo Swami constituency, NPP John Ejikumpufo had 50.108 votes.
That's 1996?
Yeah, that was 1996.
Okay.
That amount to 78.22%. And the NDC, which is the second in the lead, had 12,745, which is 19.90%. In the parliamentary, which then was Osei Mensa was standing for the NPP, he had 47.455%, representing 57.40%. And the NDC Oppong-Yeboah had 10,828%, representing 13.10%. Let's run down to 2000. And NPP John Ejikumpufo had 60,353, representing 85.6%. And the NDC John Evans Mills had 9.126%, representing 12.86%. The others were PNC, GCPP, Danlati, Late, NRP, and the others. And then looking at the parliamentary as well, we had Osei Mensa then, who had 58.99, 996%, representing 83%. And then 2004, where you come in, John Ejikumpufo had 35.364%, representing 76.23%. And you then, as a member of parliament, for the first time in parliament or the House of Legislature, had 34.957%, which represented 97.40%. NDC Salu Ibrahim had 7,116, representing 16.20%. So obviously one can say that it's a stronghold of the NPP. Moving down to 2008, NPP Nana Dankwa had 34,887%, which represented 73.38%. In the parliamentary as well, which you came in again, 36,171, that represented 76.18%. NDC Dominic Kwabena Anoba had 10,386, which represented 21.88%. I just want to run by the viewers how the trend has been so far till now. And in 2012, Nana Dankwa had 73.83%, which was 42,977. And then the NDC John Mahama had 15,300, which represented 25.83%. When we come to the parliamentary, the NPP, which is you, Dr. Anthony Akoto, had 43,561, which represents 75.79%, and the NDC's Maimuna Kabori Abubakari had 23.41%, which actually is 13,451. And the person contesting you, keenly, is Maimuna Kabori Abubakari, who contested you in 2012. Do you see her as a threat, though it has been the NPP stronghold?
No, not at all. I don't see it as a threat. I think my achievements will speak for themselves, and I mean, it is an NPP stronghold. Her strength has come from the Zongo areas, but as you can see, we're catching up. The margin, if you checked, was bigger for me compared to the presidential candidate. We want to change it around. Our target is 80%. If we do that, we'll bring the... But I must say they've come up a bit, because the Zongo is a very dense population. We don't seem to win as much, but so we are seeking to do more. Because,
why targeting 80%?
Because I think that we've done enough, and they ought to reward us. We haven't done everything, but I think that even when we are out of government, we are still able to do things, not as much. And clearly, excuse me, I'm not sure what the NDC... I mean, there are two major projects which I started, the post office and the maternity ward. Since 2008, not a pin has been touched on them. So the question is, for 8 years, what has the NDC done for them? And they haven't done much, if any at all. So I think the people appreciate what we are doing for them, including the NDC people. In fact, I get a bit more out of the Zongo than Nana, because I think I appeal to them.
As a member of parliament, you have to lobby from various, how do you call it, platforms, and the House of Legislature, there's a parliament house, in order to get your projects done in your area. So tell us, how would you go through all this to execute some of the taxes in your constituency?
Unfortunately, MPs have by default become agents of development. But there are three avenues that MPs get resources to develop. There's something called the MP's share of the District Assembly Common Fund. There's part of the MP share of the National Health Insurance, and there's the MP share of the GET Fund. And as you see, the National Health Insurance Fund is for health matters. The GET Fund is for education. And the District Assembly Common Fund, you can use it for education, health, whichever you choose. And it is important that they see that you are using the money wisely. If your constituents know that you are using your District Assembly Common Fund to give scholarships, then you are okay. And they can see that almost everybody, every year, people benefit. And that is one of the reasons that I think most people, sometimes you sit there in an emergency, somebody will come and say, oh, look, my son has got an admission to the university. So no, I can't pay it all, but you bring it. And so we share it among all people. All the schools are beneficiaries of computers. All schools, no discrimination. My
guest for today's constituency candidate profiling is Dr. Anthony Akoto Osei, who is the Member of Parliament NP for Old Tafo. So we're asking him what he's done so far, why the constituents should vote for him again, and what he can do for them he voted for. He's gone already 3 terms, 12 years, and this will be his 4th time in the House of Legislature. So let me come back to you. And Nana Dankwa Ekufuado, your flag bearer, for that matter, says that he'll provide 1 factory, 1 district he voted for in the 2016 elections. As a Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, if your flag bearer, Nana Dankwa Ekufuado, happens to be elected as the next president of Ghana, what will you decide or say your constituent should benefit from us in terms of factory?
Well, there are 2 aspects to that. My constituency is in the Kumasi metropolitan area, which in that sense is 1 metropolis. There are 9 constituencies there. Old Tafo is one of them. So there are 2 things that I think Nana wants to do. That in that metro area, at least there will be 1 factory. And clearly, I mean, you have Asukwa, you have Swame, you have... we are big enough that it will be easy to do that. That will be for the metro area. But then don't forget, he also mentioned that each constituency will be allotted $1 million from the current budget, no new money, to develop the area. That we have to decide with the people of Old Town for what they want to do. What is their priority every year? If it's schools, so be it. I'm not going to determine for them what they want to do. We'll have their 2 community centers, we'll have a town hall meeting, and let the traditional people and the people in the area decide. But there's a lot that can be done. Roads need to be done. But that money is not enough, so it will have to be a period of time.
Okay, so that is if it's elected. December 7th will decide.
Yes.
Let's talk about Ghana's debt stock in terms of GDP. From your background, as someone who knows economics, what do you feel about it?
It's unfortunate that we've almost put ourselves in the situation that we found ourselves in 2000. When President Kufuor assumed office, Ghana had refused to declare itself HIPC, even though we're a highly indebted poor country. So President Kufuor said, look, you cannot lie about it. Let's opt for that HIPC thing, and let's see what relief we can get so that we'll be able to have space to grow. And we all know what happened. We went HIPC, 3 years later, things begin to change. We went from a growth rate of 3.7 to a rebased growth rate of 9.1%, an upward trend. We don't see that now. We are almost there. The time we came in, the ratio was about 127%. The relief gave us room to come down to about less than 30. We've quickly reached 70% as of 2015. The way we are going, if we don't watch it, we'll be there. Because what is happening, if you look at the trends, is that we are spending a lot of money paying interest on our debt. This year, at the minimum, we'll pay 11 billion cedis. And if you compare that to the investment, capital expenditure, that's only 6 billion. Any country that pays interest more than investment, your GDP growth will come down. So it's not surprising that after the oil outset in 2011, we've come down to about 3.3%. Not the best. At that rate, you will not have enough money to pay the interest that you are doing. So we need to get out of that trap.
But the NDC says that it's a debt created by the NPP, which they, the NDC, are still paying.
Oh, I mean, why would anybody lie? You came to meet that 9.5, isn't it? That's a fact. 9.5 billion cedis. It is at 110. So who created it? I mean, why would they want to lie about it? In the last 4 years, Eurobond, 4 billion, at high interest rates. I mean, is that a secret Chinese loan? They went for 3 billion, they've been given 1 billion. I mean, the facts are there. So how can anybody in the NDC even make up that lie? You came to meet 9.5 billion. If it goes up to 110, and you're saying, was MPP in power to borrow? I've been in parliament for the last 8 years. In fact, today, as I speak, there are 2 loans that are coming to us. As I speak. You are getting out in December. Yesterday, we met on 3 loans. So, I mean, I don't think anybody can lie.
The president says that he's investing the money borrowed in infrastructure development.
My dear,
and
it cannot be.
Clear cut. As you can see, or look around us, one would say that the president is in a whole lot in terms of roads. You know, asphalt, just name it. Is that correct? And also projects as well.
I'll tell you why it's not correct. You see, you don't look at... let me give you an analogy. If you spend 4,000 cedis on your family, and I say I spent 10,000, if I don't ask you how many people are in your family, it will appear that you are doing more than me. But if you spend 4,000 on 10 people, and I spend 5,000 on 1, who is doing better? That is what you're doing. Kufuor's investment GDP ratio was around between 9 to 10%. And NDC, especially since Mahama, is down to 4%. So you need to look at the investment GDP ratio to see whether or not you are doing well. And that's what they've done. So yeah, relatively speaking, they have not invested enough. And that is why the GDP growth is low. That is why it is low. It's not a miracle. If you don't invest enough, you will not grow.
So are you saying that the NDC is lying to the to Ghanaians.
Or they don't understand what investment GDP ratio is. I mean, your ratio is going down, you are not growing.
But could it also be that the GDP has increased?
No, that is the point I'm saying, that maybe some of them, I mean, sometimes I feel sorry for the president. I don't think he's been given the best information, because it is investment that assures growth. So if you are not investing enough, the absolute amount doesn't matter. It's the proportion to your GDP that matters. And that's why I gave you that analogy. You say you are spending 4,000, but on 10 people. I'm spending 5,000 on one person. Certainly, that person will have more quality everything than yours. So they should understand how it is measured.
In 2 minutes, how will you describe Ghana's growth in terms of the economy, and how will you say the NPP-led government, if elected into power come 7th December, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo for that matter, can change the trend or how bad the economy has become as it's been touted out there?
I think that our manifesto says it all. NDC government has tried to tax their way out, so businesses cannot grow. We are going to untax people to give them room to operate. Private sector relies on good conditions. Right now, if you're a business person, you go to a bank. If you're lucky, they will lend it to you at 35%, if you're lucky. You tell me, what project can you do that will make a return of 35% to be able to pay back? That interest rates must go down. Inflation, they met it at 18%. It's at 17.2 in 8 years. We met it at 40.2. We brought it down to 18. It's obvious. Ghanaians know better. I don't know if you were in Ghana between 2001 and 2008.
Yeah, I was.
Banks were coming to your home to beg you to come and borrow money. That's not a lie.
But one would say that economic crunches cut across the international world. So obviously,
in 2008, we had the worst financial condition in the world. We grew at 9.1%. The whole world was in a crisis. Ghana grew at a rebase rate of 9.1%. You have oil. We didn't have oil. Read today's papers. People don't know what we are spending our oil money on. We know some. Rebranding. How can you spend oil money on the rebranding of buses? That's unproductive. Very unproductive. That's the difference. And that is the difference.
Let's shift attention back to your constituency. Maimuna Kabori Abubakar, who contested you on the ticket of the NDC in the last election, 2012, is keenly contesting you again on the ticket of the NDC. What is it that she's doing in your constituency that seems so threatened by you?
Nothing at all. I'm not threatened by her at all. She goes around, unfortunately, uses bad language that I'm incompetent. Now, I don't want to go into gutter with her. She's a woman, I want to respect her, but they should advise her. She's a young lady, she finished Osei. Even in her own alma mater, I've done more for her alma mater, but she's my constituent, so I don't discriminate. But you don't campaign by going to put some people down. So I think I ignore her.
Now, let's look at the larger picture in terms of your party, the NPP for that matter. Candidates are going independent in Ashanti region.
Some parts of
the Ashanti region, because you are coming from the Ashanti region as well. So obviously, there's something that you should be bothered about.
Oh, I mean, if you know the NPP tradition, this is normal. Whether or not it will help them is a different matter. But I can assure you, they are being talked to, and some people have already chosen not to come again. A few places that I know Nana will be visiting is going to try and talk to the independent candidates. Some of them, we don't know why. But I think these are internal matters, and we need to deal with them. But the same thing holds for NDC all around the north, the Volta region. They are independent candidates. People, I mean, Fifi Kwete's constituency, the old MP, the guy is running independent. So it is, even Okude to Ablakwa's constituency. So this is not unique to MPP. It is part of our politics in Ghana.
Finally, what can you tell your constituent, irrespective of the fact that Otafo is the stronghold of the NPP? Why should you be re-elected for the full time as a member of parliament?
I think most people that watch work in parliament will attest to the fact that I participate a lot in, and that is the main work that I'm sent there. But aside from that, I think that the MPP, through our flag bearer, through Ajegum Kufuor, has demonstrated clearly that there's a difference between MPP and NDC. That when we come, people see progress. When NDC comes, we seem to be retrogressing. And so our manifesto has come out very clear as to what needs to be done to change the fortune of Ghanaians around. Because I tell you, for Ghanaians, if we retain NDC, we may not, we may be going to a state where most of us have not seen before. All the symptoms are very clear. All the symptoms are very clear. And so we need to get a chance to be able to come back and do what Kufuor did, which he didn't finish. Nanado and his team, I think, are poised to do that. We have set out the manifesto, and we will deliver. We've done it before. Our record is very clear.
All right, so my guest for this morning's edition, Thursday's edition for the matter on profiling of parliamentary candidates from the various constituency has been Dr. Anthony Akoto, who is the MP or incumbent MP for Ottafo, is seeking re-election. He said it all the time. But before you go, let me put this to you. And some MPs have, you know, let's say a number of terms. Okay, from this term, I'm not going to stand again. You're going for the full time. Do you have any idea of saying that, okay, this is my last term?
No, I haven't thought about it yet. I take it one term at a time. So
you're a political guru in parliament. I hope you don't want to become a Mugabe.
Well, I'm not a Mugabe, certainly. But I think you certainly need some of the experience.
All right, in Parliament. Okay, so my guest has been Dr. Anthony Akoto, MP for Ottafo. He is asking his constituents to vote for him again on today's edition of the show, which has to do with profiling of various parliamentary candidates. Thank you so much for coming. Give me a handshake and good luck. Okay, so we'll see you again Tuesday and then Wednesday and Thursday. My name is Josephine Oppong-Yeboah. That's where we wrap up on today's edition of Good Morning Ghana. See you tomorrow. Good morning.